identified them. My assertion is that they need to be repatriated to country, kin or soil, and it would be great if the Art Gallery of New South Wales would come along and engage with us. It would be great if the Caldor project would come along. They started talking to me and engaging with me, these two institutions, when they found out I was actually serious about de-accessioning, and I was actually serious about approaching the estate of Christo and Jean-Claude, and I was serious about taking them to court over these two trees, they stopped talking to me. Don't worry, I've got an activist plan. It involves a lot of women over the age of 55, so girls. So one of the activist plans is, if we can't engage these large institutions in these conversations of policy change and repatriation and community engagement, then what else might we do? In my large project, it's called the Wrap Trees Project. I have behind me 65 what I call tree guardians, and those tree guardians are made up of psychologists, botanists, photographers, drag queens, DJs, fantastically established artists. I don't know how much about art you know, but Black Douglas, who won last year's Archibald, is one of my cultural mentors. Dr. Jodie Edwards from the Darrell Nation is also one of my cultural mentors. Lucas Eileen, who worked on the Biennale of Sydney, the last one in Niran, and Ian Millis, who is one of Australia's first, considered one of Australia's first truly conceptual artists. So I'm very lucky. There are 65 people who watch me, listen to me, blog on and blog on. It just feels like all I do is blog on every week on a Friday afternoon. And as time goes by and we get closer and closer to more public iterations, by the way, open invitation, anybody can be a tree guardian. Anybody can be a tree guardian. You don't have to be an official tree guardian, but if you would like to join us, you're very welcome. All you have to know at this point, it's a long-term project, could be up to 10 years. What colour undies are you going to wear on the outside of your clothes when we stand victorious on the steps of the gallery with the trees in tow? So yeah, I have performance artists and all sorts of things. There are people who are prepared to actually physically hand the trees on from person to person as we sing them all the way to home. And I don't know where that home is because somebody else in my project might like to do that, so I deliberately leave questions unanswered. So I'm going to finish by telling you what the trees said to me, and then I'll introduce Sister Everywhen to you. So 2019, my anxiety was so through the roof, I call it my Peter Garrett phase. So I was so anxious that I couldn't stop moving. My lecturer said, would you like to come to the Art Gallery of New South Wales and write in a newspaper? And I didn't even know how to catch the train. So my NDIS worker took me on the train while I'm sitting on the train going, why am I doing this to myself? Anyway, I met the trees. They were put on display for the 50th anniversary of the Rat Coast, and there they were laying in a box. And it's still, you can see, it still reaches me because they look like trees in coffins. One end is wrapped in canvas, the other end is wrapped in plastic. They were presented on the floor in a box, and I saw them, and I can't look at you because I saw them and they just looked like my dead brothers and sisters. Now I wish I could explain this, it's not even a dual awareness or a dual consciousness, but I live in more than one world at the same time. And so then does my work. The trees said to me in 2019 in English, you need to look after us. You need to get up, get well, and do what we tell you to do. Now, I feel the trees, and I didn't tell my therapist for a really long time because I was dead scared she was going to lock me up. So the trees walk with me wherever I walk, and I know this type of sense to you all. I think perhaps you will understand, Andrew. So they walk with me wherever I walk. Wherever I walk, I have 80,000 years of ancestors behind me. But the trick is, you don't need to understand this stuff intellectually, because every single one of you have got ancestors, and they're walking with you. And so if you can get your head around that idea that no matter what you do, your ancestry is acting through you, then you have, in effect, some time travel. The past coming through you, acting as you act and behave and speak, bringing itself into the present, and as you consider the future, you're actually throwing seeds into the future. So you're actually living in the past, the present, and the future all at the same time. So the trees say to me, you have to go out and convince as many white fellas as you can get, as many white fellas as you can get to come along. Now they need to be smart, they need to be this, they need to be the IGA ladies at a country town at the back of New South Wales, and they are. And therein is where we come to what I call co-care. It's about reconstructing the way we treat one another, working with a framework whereby when you come in contact with anybody at all, the framework that you treat another person with is that you leave them in a better condition than you found them. And that is when you come in contact with your mother, your father, your children, anybody, grocery lady. So I like to go to Coles and just say, oh, hey, Lachlan, how's it going today? You know, and just bring them here and bring them with me and say, hello, let me just snap into your world for a second and bring you to mine and say, oh yeah, I saw you driving your car the other day, but I didn't wave because you were concentrating. And Lachlan goes, oh my God, it's that woman again. Why does she have to talk to me? I just think, well, I have to. So in my tree project, the trees, actually I have been able to capture twice in writing what they've said to me. So the trees actually speak to me. I might think it's in English, maybe I think it into English. Anyway, they tell me things like, don't find out what species we are, because there's somebody going to come from your tree guardian group or from the future saying, but we don't know what species they are. It's things like, they tell me to make sure that I have got representations from as many different areas of other that I can possibly find. And if we all dig down deep, we're all some kind of other somewhere in ourselves. So one of my main mentors is one of those big old white men who was there when they wrapped the trees up in plastic. He actually helped them. So in there is this thing about the past not being beaten up. From the privilege of their future, let's not beat up the past. From the privilege of their future, let's say, come with us. You were all brave once, we need to be brave again. Now, in saying bravery and these things about leading with vulnerability, at the back, we were going to hang them, but I actually think they're much more consumable, hopefully, 3 photographs. And that's Sister Everywhen. She is one of my performance characters. Primarily, I am a performance character called Sister Glitter-Nullius, whose DNA was infected by microplastics. So she runs around morphing into a bird, screeching at people, you know, chasing them down the street and cursing them and banning them into hell and all sorts of things. But Sister Everywhen, who's up there, she is a moment in consciousness inside Sister Glitter-Nullius. She's a moment of recognition of how disconnected she is as a human from other humans, how disconnected she is from birds. She's not morphing into an indigenous bird, she's actually morphing into a macaw. So Sister Everywhen has this recognition of another level. She's not human enough anymore to be human, she's not bird enough to be bird. So in effect, she's a monster and she's homeless. So Sister Everywhen, in her Sister Glitter-Nullius, manifests Sister Everywhen. Sister Everywhen takes herself out to the bush and takes off her plastic glitter shoes and puts her foot to the dirt in the hope that she can touch earth or she can touch some recognition of what it might feel to reconnect with her Aboriginality. Of course, then she realises you need a whole bunch of people to have corroboree with. What you'll find with Sister Everywhere, though, is that she tries corroboree, she tries to feel connection to culture, and at the end of the journey, she finds, actually, I may never find culture, but I do find rest and reciprocity with the roots of a tree. And that's where she finds rest, and she finds a level of understanding about what is actually not necessarily a human inheritance or a human cultural heritage, but it is one that is a duty that she finds joy in, and that's her equality with nature. There you go. Thank you.